And I think we're live. I just got a notification. We are live. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars, folks. A little bit of a different format tonight. I'm broadcasting from home. We got this guy in the house for a bit. And we have Lando27music all the way from the nation's capital joining us tonight, filling in for Richie. Richie may join us later. He was at a golfing deal in Kingston today, so he may make it back and jump in. How you doing, Landon?
Great. How you doing?
Ooh, nice save.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. How you doing?
I'm all right for an old dude, you know. Had another birthday and woke up this morning. And
yeah.
Things are exciting all over.
Let's see, who do we got in the chat here? We got R2R3 Locking Nut. We got Paul Liu, Jason Wade, JJ Collins, JJ's House of Jams. Wow, awesome. Adam EVH, Jim Guidry. Good to see everyone tuning in.
Cool. Do you find you get more people on Sundays or Thursdays? What's your better night?
It's weird in that respect. Thursdays is our big show, but Sundays for some reason overall, I think it's because part of it's that they're longer videos that I end up getting more views because I think people are going back and watching it a piece at a time.
Right.
But also I usually have a lot of bigger guests on. Usually Thursdays is just Rich and me.
Hey,
but
I'm big.
Yeah, and you were on a Sunday.
I was.
Yeah, well, see,
Indeed,
Steve from Boston, Shane, my dad.
There you go.
There we go. Hey, we got Guitar Hack. We got, see, as Johnny says, two bin in one, aka Mr. Tobin himself.
Hey.
We got the Groovy Ghouliek tuning in from the West Coast. We got Guitar Hack out of Toronto. We got Michael Bishop tuning in from Indy. Quentin James from Parts Unknown. Lando27music. We don't know who that is.
No.
And Fender Guru from New Zealand.
Oh, is he from New Zealand? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, EJ from Texas. Sorry, I think I missed you earlier. We're using Google Hangouts tonight, JJ. So we're not backwards for once. Very cool. Very cool. So let's see. What do we got going on? Not a whole lot of news other than there was the deal last week with the tone print that we touched on briefly. Did you see Henning Pauly's video regarding that?
Trying to remember if I did. I think
it was probably the most brilliant video I've ever seen.
There was a cat, right? I think on the thumbnail was a cat or something. I don't think I watched it. No.
So basically he said, well, you want to know my opinion. I don't know a lot about it. So he tuned into Ryan's channel to see his video on it.
I did watch it.
Which was brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant, where he just basically sat there and he said, well, I don't have an opinion, but you guys want to comment. So he spent, 10 minutes just sitting there drinking a beer silently
watching
while people were apparently commenting.
Yeah.
So Henning's was even more brilliant because it's a video of Henning watching Ryan's video.
Right. I did see that. Okay.
And I was just like, awesome. Just absolute brilliance. Yeah, Scott Nickerson just tuned in. Awesome. Good to see you all the way from Edmonton.
Sorry, I didn't see much news this week. I didn't really notice any big deals going on or anything.
No. Yeah, same here. Cheddar, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I finally got around. I saw some of the coverage from Summer NAMM, the 2019 Gibson lineup. Ooh, I'm digging it.
I didn't see any of it.
They've
Gibson.
Yeah, they finally actually are starting to do things right again.
Like still in business.
Yeah, apparently still in business. I didn't see robo tuners totally prominent. They went back to a 50s wiring style, but also included coil tap, out of phase, and even the fourth knob now is a push pull. So I don't even know what the fourth option is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's on which line? That was just on.
Run out of new stuff to play. You play the standards, right?
Yeah.
Go back to where you started.
Is that what you're talking about? The standard line? That's where you're.
Yeah.
I'll have to go check them out. Do they have them on their site yet? I usually like to check out their site once a year.
I'm not sure. Hello. Yes?
King man.
Oh, you want to say hi? Apparently we have another guest. There's Ma. Whole family tonight. See, now we're saying, Landon, you're bachelor tonight. Family's gone. I got everybody apparently in the room.
There you go.
Opposite, yeah.
Everybody in the house is in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Write it down. I said that.
Did you unbox it?
No, we didn't yet.
Oh,
No. I was waiting a little bit. West Coast Amity in the house, new subscriber. Good to see ya. See, Tobin says that new ES 137 style is really nice. Yeah. I was looking at one. It was like, so the ES 175, they're single cut hollow body, but they kind of shrunk it down to halfway between the regular size and a Les Paul. So it's more in line with like a Guild style single cut hollow body. Really cool. Really cool. And nice tone.
Nice.
R2 says, hello, Mom. I won't time you out. That's still going on a t-shirt.
there you go.
We do have new t-shirt designs in the works. I was doing some work on them last night. And we shall see what comes of it. So apparently somebody wants to see an unboxing. I think Mom.
An unboxing, yeah.
So since he's in the chat already,
He is.
I was going to wait until about 8:30, but hey,
it's not going to happen, huh?
we got this in the mail.
A package.
All the way from, I will say, Sydney, Nova Scotia. And it is for Mr. Shanahan and myself. But apparently there's an additional item for you, sir.
For me. Hence me being here.
Let's see here. Give her a false sense of security, R2, Dan Sullivan says. No, it wasn't 6 hours, Andrew. We only went 5 the other night.
Oh, your marathon night. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Here we are. What's your name?
Oh. Yo, you got some. Ooh, wow. 2 of these Ernie Ball pedalboard patch cables.
3.
Yeah, 3, but 2.
Oh, 2 packages.
One
2
for
of 3.
myself, one for Mr. Shanahan.
All right.
Very, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really need to upgrade some of the ones on my pedalboard.
They
No
are cool,
way.
huh?
Haha. Ernie Ball 9 through 42s, which I believe is also your gauge
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
But I used boomers.
Yeah, you liked your boomers.
Well, not because they were so good. It's just that they lasted longer. Like, I think 27 hours.
And this is for you, sir.
That's a bag. I got a bag. I've hung out with bags before, but anyway. Well, let's open it.
Why not?
Well, first of all, we have a magnet.
Oh, cool.
Just a Cape Breton guy living in Ontario.
Awesome. I love it.
Really? Go on the refrigerator, huh?
Yep. There we go.
The book of extraordinary Cape Bretoners.
Oh, I'm sure you're in it.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, that's under weird.
Too cool. Too cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the Rankin family right there,
Right.
or right to a music page.
As speaking of Cape Bretoners, Ernie Bootler used to say to me, "You're right there in the middle of her, boy."
Yeah. Hey, Danny Gallivan.
I knew him.
You did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Gallivan's
Very cool.
that delivered newspapers there as a kid.
Right on. Right on. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Tobin. Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed.
Thank you.
Tobin, a name I know well.
Yes.
Harry Tobin.
So you guys from the East Coast originally, both of you?
I was.
You were, okay.
I guess I still am.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Originally.
I was born in Ontario, though.
Okay.
I left there as soon as possible. In 66.
66. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Anyway, that's really cool. Love that.
That's cool stuff.
Oh, we will enjoy for sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Tobin one. Okay. Chad Tobin.
Indeed.
And then was that a typo when he was making his username, maybe?
I think he's yelling it out as going,
Yeah.
Tobin
Yeah,
one.
All uppercase.
I've never got exact clarification on it.
Kings Road.
Kings Road. Yeah, not an exact address. We won't give that.
He lives on Kings Road. Yeah. The
We got Absolute Mayhem in the house, all the way from
Beane,
Napanee, Ontario.
downtown.
Downtown.
Napanee.
South side, I believe.
Mm.
It was a typo that stuck. Well, there we go. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, and I saw in the chat, Lil David Ennis. I wrote this down, folks, so I wouldn't screw it up. Let's see here. Bring up my notes. Lil David Ennis has a show coming out. And it is on, there we are. The channel is called Tone of Thunder. If you do a search for Tone of Thunder, they are debuting on Saturday, August 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So go give them a sub.
Where's he from?
Ring the bell. Lil David Ennis is out of Missouri.
Cool.
And he's been a supporter of the channel since day one.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri.
Gotta say it right.
And yeah, he's been supporting the channel since day one. So he had
That's
messaged
cool.
me, told me he was starting a show, and
All right.
give him a shout out. So that should be really cool. Awesome. So yeah, not a whole lot going on news-wise, and I'm just trying to think. Even in I haven't heard anything music-wise other than nothing.
Big concert.
Oh yeah, well yeah, the Warp Tour went through yesterday. That's what you're talking about.
The one where the stage collapsed a few years ago.
Oh, that was the Downsview thing. Yeah, they're just getting into that now.
That band is playing Toronto.
Yes, Radiohead.
Radiohead, yeah.
Radiohead. I don't know what they do, but they do.
Apparently, it's life-changing seeing them live.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, they're playing there, I think, tonight.
Sure.
They're playing at what is Air Canada? It used to be Air Canada, or sorry, it's Scotiabank.
Yeah, no, I think it's another
that's what it's called
Scotiabank
now,
place.
What is that place?
Be the Air Canada Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the was that the old amphitheater? The Molson Amphitheater? Not Molson Amphitheater.
No, the Molson Amphitheater is now the Budweiser stage.
Oh god, I can't keep track of these all these
Really?
brands. Like
Yeah.
when it used to be the Sky Dome and Maple Leaf Gardens, then it was simple, right?
Yeah.
Now everything's a brand.
Hey, Seal is tuning in from Croatia. He's awake.
Wow.
That'd be 2:15 in the morning there. Awesome.
Hmm.
Absolute Mayhem says, absolutely awesome to see Mr. Coombs. Oops, David Coombs.
Dave. My friends call me Dave. My father was Mr. Coombs.
He tried to correct himself.
That's all right.
He tried.
Sure. As long as you call.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No relation to Ernie, right?
Yeah.
I think that was last week we were talking about that. Or you guys were.
So you put out a video, and which kind of ties into an idea we're kicking around. You put out a video where you got to play around on a 79 Strat.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was. It's beautiful except for the weight. That's the only thing about it that I wouldn't.
Heavy.
Yeah.
10. It was 10. I weighed it was 10.12 pounds.
Wow.
So that was. I had to stop after a while. It was starting to hurt my back after standing up with that for a while. So you can imagine.
No.
I don't know if that was one of the biggest complaints about the Fenders in that era.
Oh,
And-
the Les Pauls were the same way.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. There's I don't know if you can see it behind me. There's a 77 Les Paul custom there.
There you go.
And it's
with the pancake
not
body.
that one, but the other one. Yeah, and it's just under 10 pounds, around the same.
That's not too bad. It's
Yeah.
not too bad.
So you play those for
So,
a little
yeah.
while. And starts
So
to
that
hurt.
brought us up to we were kicking around the idea. Would you like to have a guitar from year of manufacture from the year you were born? And if so, what guitar would it be? So let's throw it out to the guys in the chat.
Yeah.
You guys all know how old you are. Would you, can you, would you? I know depending on certain age. Fortunately, we don't have Showman Blues. Well, Showman's your age, so that would really limits it. It's like, yeah, would you? I guess a Gibson, like what, a Gibson
Well,
arch top or a Gibson acoustic from the year you
definitely
were made, or
acoustic.
Martin? Yeah, but it wouldn't be electric.
Acoustic. No.
I think I'm kind of lucky. So I was 79, right? So I can get
28.
something. I can get something relatively
Nice.
I'm not going to say inexpensive, but you can see some 79 Fenders for about 2,000.
Yep.
So that's not crazy. It seems we're not talking like 20, 30,000 if you're looking at 60s, you know, that
Sure.
year of guitar. But so I think if I now it sparked my interest. I didn't even think about this before. I haven't been looking at vintage gear at all. I'm just buying like more recent stuff. But I think it'd be a Telly. I'd try to find. I don't know if it'd be a 79 Deluxe or just there. I've looked online and it's hard to find stuff. So maybe
Right.
I don't really know. Somebody commented they wanted to get a 79 Strat. They ended up getting a PV. What was the name? Had a 60 in it. Is it an M60 or a T60 or something like that?
D60.
Yeah, they had one. I looked at. You can get one for $500. Saw one on Reverb, 500 Canadian in like mint condition, but they're heavy too. They're another 9-pounder. So I don't know if I'd go for that. But
Nice. We're getting a few comments here. Let's see. Tobin says would love to have a 76 Telly. Nice. R2 says a 73 Gibson Deluxe. I had a 72. It would be a real difference in tone from your active pickups, buddy. But nice choice. Guitar Hack says 66 Les Paul. I'll take it. So basically an SG. Let's see. Absolute Mayhem says that's funny. I know a guy with a 71 Telly. Yeah, Ben, my birthday is next month. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. David Ennis says a 60 Les Paul. Sure, why not, right? Dan Sullivan says a 65 Strat. And nope, my age would be too expensive.
there you go.
I have to see what was out in 55. Ooh, yeah, well, you can get a 55 Strat. It's not like the first year of the Strat, 54, 55. That wouldn't be cheap.
You're asking me to remember, right?
Well, you were there. I wasn't.
I know I was, but you're asking me to remember.
And then on the other spectrum, Sela says 2005 Gibson Sg Standard. Yeah, Sela, he can choose anything.
Kids are lucky, eh? Kids these days, they have everything.
I know. And I got T-shirts as old as him.
We still have a 59 Fender catalog.
I don't know.
I had one.
I know you did.
Oh, that'd be cool to look at.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think I played one.
I have to look around for that.
Because I was in junior high school the first time I played a Strat. I think
that would have been definitely an early
it
Strat.
would have been, yeah.
And Ben, what year did you say you were?
What's that?
What year did you say you were? I think
I'm a 74.
74, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. For a 74, man, you're looking at multi-piece bodied Les Pauls with multi-piece necks. Fender guitars weren't that great. I'll go with the same answer as him. Go with the D28.
Because I have a friend of mine's going to lend me. He has a 74 Les Paul Deluxe.
Nice.
What your D28 is?
72, I think.
Is it?
I think it's a 72.
72.
And this one has a fixed headstock. I think the headstock broke on it. It was repaired. So
yeah, that's pretty par for the course.
That was my biggest fear when I was looking at getting a Gibson Les Paul. I kept seeing stories about when they fall over. Right. And you have
that's where the newer ones are nice. Where what was it for 2017 or 18? They added that extra volute like a Martin on the right behind the nut there.
All right, yeah.
They did the exact same thing. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, why haven't you been doing that for the last 50 years?
My favorite guitar is the one that you can play and makes you money.
Yep. Jason Wade says a 1970 Guild F212 12 string. Ooh, that would be nice. Quentin James says 64 Strat. A friend of his has a 65, paid 23 grand for it, but he's a dentist.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
A very busy dentist.
Now, there's an interesting one. JJ Collins says a 1976 BC Rich Mockingbird, since Charvel wasn't started yet.
Cool.
Johnny Bean says 84 Kramer Beretta. I think you're going to actually have to go a little older than that, Johnny, because I'm pretty sure you're not 10 years younger than me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you were just talking about the headstock there with the Les Pauls and how they've added that to it. I think there's just things that these companies wanted to keep. They just wanted to keep it the same. Like the one that kills me every time is the socket on a Telecaster. How they have that cup socket that always comes loose.
Yeah.
So I've replaced all of them except for my Tele Pro. I just don't want to touch that one. I've put in an electro socket with the 2 screws.
Right.
That thing's solid. Why don't they use those? Yeah. They just want to keep
for the price of 2 screws.
Like,
or even like the fact that like Les Pauls, when they do a flame top, they're mismatched because that's the Gibson way. Because at some point they stopped matching book matching the flame top.
Is that why?
Yeah. But now they go, well, we're Gibson and that's the way we do it. Well, just because it's wrong doesn't mean you should keep doing it. But
that reminds me, actually, I looked up. So that 77 Les Paul, that was made in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yep.
So I was wondering. I looked up the plant and what happened to it, and it's called Heritage Guitars. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yep. And Collins Guitars was running out of that plant as well.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yep.
So I don't know if they're still both active or active.
They're active, but I don't think they're in the plant now. I think just in the last 6 months, I could have swore I saw something about the building was in foreclosure.
Oh, really?
There was something going on with the building.
And I read that Heritage, I can't remember what year it was, they decided to do no advertising. So they went strictly on word of mouth. And I don't know. I think that did not help them. I think they went under.
No.
Maybe they are gone. I don't know. But
yeah.
cool.
I know Collins is still around, but buying a Collins, they're like basically a custom shop Gibson anyways, you know, in many ways, right? Or like buying a Sewer or something like that, where it's a very overbuilt Fender.
Yeah,
but you got to pay to it.
And I guess the Heritage plant was people that didn't want to move when Gibson left to go to, where did they go? To Tennessee, I guess.
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I noticed the Gibson did that very strategic. Nashville for the solid bodies and Memphis for the hollow bodies. And I think part of it is just to have that city name recognition or something.
Yeah, but Kalamazoo, everybody knew that.
I know.
Hence the Kalamazoo guitar.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Sela says, I played teacher's Sir guitar. Pickups are awesome, even though a Line 6 Spider 15 watt. Yeah. Well, it would sound better if it wasn't through a Line 6 Spider.
Yeah, for sure. I've played a couple Sir guitars. They're nice. They're expensive though.
I'm trying to think if I saw some. I can't remember if I actually did pick one up and play one. Can't remember now. Really, they are a brilliant guitar.
I went to
Good to see you, buddy.
There's one store. They don't. Sir isn't sold everywhere. It's select stores around the world, and there's one in Ottawa called Lando27music. They had a guitar shop or a guitar. Yeah, I guess not a guitar shop. What do you call those? They had Ian Thornley from Big Wreck. He was there doing a demo of Sir.
Right.
He's one of the artists. So.
Right. Yeah, because Sir basically provides that whole band with equipment. Like I think both guitar players and the bass player all play Sir stuff.
They both do. And his thing, Ian, he sounded pretty sincere and honest. He said, I'm not here trying to sell it. You know, the weather in Canada, it's terrible. He said something about the roasted necks stand up to the tuning a lot better. There's a lot less work done on the guitars. And that was his sales pitch, basically. He said these guitars can withstand extreme temperature jumps. And they just stay in tune better, and they just last. I don't know if they last longer or if they're easier to maintain, something like that.
Interesting.
He's had everything. So,
yeah. Well, let's see. We got Sky DG Productions in the house. Good to see you, buddy. And Tanaka's in the house. And we have a question from Absolute Mayhem. It says, seeing that Lando has a Beatles shirt on, favorite song or favorite Beatle, or are you both? What do you think, Lando? You have a favorite song, member?
Favorite Beatle is Harrison, for sure. And favorite song, That's a tough one. I don't know. I like George Harrison. I've always liked his stuff and his solo career and all that stuff after. So
Sure.
I have opinions on the Beatles.
Well, yeah.
Well, I would say, yeah, Harrison is probably the best of the lot. Although I think their production taught them a lot when they first started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't go from playing cover tunes, you know, in bars and stuff like that, and suddenly start writing this unbelievable, you know,
Right.
orchestrated material. I don't think they knew that much about playing, but I think that their production crew did.
oh,
And,
like George Martin.
Yeah, George Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In particular, and so
It-
yeah, you know,
I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably say as far as actually during the Beatles themselves, Harrison. Although I seem to like, as far as their solo work, I love John Lennon stuff because he got very back to roots in a lot of stuff. He got, you know, he put away the psychedelia. You know, like I'm just thinking of, you know, like
he got straight for a time.
well, no, he went the opposite way there. There was the
Well,
lost years.
yeah,
you know, but you know, I'm just thinking, yeah, a lot of his soul stuff is very rock and roll again. But
Yeah.
you know, but with an edge. And
Well, the influences start coming out, right?
yeah, like I'm Losing You. I cover that song by him. Absolutely love that song.
But
yeah.
then, you know, I have to admit, I played the hell out of the White Album when it was new.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it was interesting.
Hey, Matthew Stewart.
But the Abbey Road album was
Chris Eggerstead.
a good album, I thought.
Yeah, everyone says Revolver, but I don't know.
But the early stuff, I mean, it took off.
Yeah.
It did. Boy, it sure changed everything. That, and you know,
I think the
there were
Sgt.
other,
Pepper album was probably my favorite.
you know, good.
But then again, I like the early stuff too. Like
Yeah,
their
it's
pop,
there's some-
bubblegummy pop stuff. I still, you know, I like
Yeah.
that because it had this simplicity, you know, of what later became punk rock in many ways.
It's just, I still find it amazing that how long were they together? Like as the Beatles, 6 years or something?
7 years?
7 years?
8 years?
The way the music changed so much in just that small amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, rapidly.
You can't even describe that to somebody. Show them a band today, the band will be the same for their whole career
Mhm.
for 20, 30 years. These guys changed so much.
Yeah, and how few acts were able to change from one and, you know, from short hair wearing suits to being full on rebellious types, you know, like literally would be what? The Who, the Stones, and the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not necessarily. The big rival
Mm-hmm.
in the day when they first hit in America, their biggest rival was the Dave Clark Five.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had some great musicians in that
They
band.
did.
You know, and others, you know, of that era. But that was the big competition.
Right. But even
It's
then,
the Beatles against
I remember
Dave
like the
Clark
Dave
Five.
Clark Five would be on bills, you know, in the late 60s, but they're still doing the same stuff they were doing 5-6 years earlier,
Well,
whereas
yeah.
everybody else had changed or,
Yeah.
you know, I
Right.
won't say evolved.
I think that the Beatles, once they, you know, I mean, they started out playing and they played what they heard,
Yeah.
you know, on record or whatever. And then, but when they started getting popular and guys like, you know, Chuck Berry or Bo Diddley or whoever toured England, I think, you know, they got together with those guys and they learned a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like Clapton did, you know.
Mhm.
And
Hey, we got Dave Byron tuning in from
they learned
Southwest Florida.
you know, that blues tuning and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and then
You should say hi to Mr. Byron, since every time he goes live, he talks about you.
Mr. Byron, how you doing?
You affected him, I think.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what to take for that. You need a shot of Ben here. He'll help you out. There you go. How you doing?
EJ says, hey, I just figured out that if I leave the chat and come back in, I can give another thumbs up. I've already given 4 thumbs ups now.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
It seems like a bug with YouTube. I've seen that before. I'll go back to a video that I've watched before and give it a thumbs up, and my thumbs up isn't there anymore.
Right.
Or it lets me do a thumbs up. So I think that's some kind of bug.
Right. Well, thank you, EJ, for skewing the stats ever so slightly. Wow, we got 26 people watching. Nice. Well, 25, but that could be EJ going in and out. 25 and a half.
Thumbs up.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Let's see here. Let me just bring up my notes. I usually make notes for the big Thursday show here. Well, no, that's notes for me. That doesn't help us. Talked about that. Wow, I really didn't have any notes for this week. Oh yeah, I got coming up on July 27th, which is a Friday. What is that? 1 week from tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So it's an early show. 10 a.m. on the West Coast. We're gonna have Mr. Henning Pauly on for a hangout.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So he's in Germany.
And I'll be at a car show called Wheels on the Bay. If you're in town, 3 days of fun in the park.
Right. Yes. If you're in the Quinte region, pop on by. Huge car show for 3 days. And let's see here. So guys are all talking about nice guitars. Stiff competition with Live PD. Oh yeah, I forgot EJ likes to watch Live PD and me at the same time. Anybody heard of Albert King? Sela says, yeah, we've all heard of Albert King, buddy. Well, I can't speak for Landon, but we know who Albert King is.
Oh yeah.
I know the name.
Really?
Maybe I know the music. There's so many bands, like they're artists, right? That you know the music before you know the person's name.
The Three Kings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the Three Kings: Albert King, BB King, and Freddie King. I wouldn't say they all played the same.
Take your pick.
Yeah,
No.
all phenomenal players.
For sure.
So where's Henning? He's in Germany?
Germany, yeah.
Okay.
Albert used to use a capo a lot, didn't he?
Yes. Let's see. Jimmy T says, hi all. I believe Jimmy T's in Australia. Awesome to see you, buddy.
All right.
Tobin says, Ben, what is that Marshall in the back there? You mean this Marshall? That is, I believe, a 1984-85 Marshall Lead 100 Moffset. So it is the solid state clone of a 80s JCM 800, I think. Which may be going up on the auction block soon.
Quite a guy, Marshall.
I never use it. Mr. James Marshall, yes.
Can't tell big. How many watts is that? Like 100 head?
100 watts.
100 watts.
Yep.
It looks small but I think it's pretty far behind you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's not as big as like the big tube ones, like 3/4 size maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's sitting on a 112 combo and it's about the same width.
Somebody's asking me how I uploaded. I uploaded a video. I started before the stream, and I guess it just finished and went public. Asking me how I uploaded a video during the live stream.
Oh, gotcha. Well, plus, yeah, you're on Google Hangouts, which really you wouldn't need to have YouTube even open for that.
Magic. I just gave away all the secrets.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
Well, we're going to start crossing examining you.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We haven't found out enough information here.
Magic. There you go. Groovy Ghoulies thing.
Dave Byron asks, how often do you do originals? I haven't even written a piece of music in probably 5 years. Richie's written a handful of songs. We've jammed them out. We keep talking about recording them, but we haven't got around to it yet. We're thinking about maybe incorporating a half dozen or so into our night, 1 or 2 per set, maybe. Hey, Mark Dillon, new to the channel. Rock on, he says.
Hey. I finished a song 2 years ago that I started writing in '74. I can't remember what it was, but I got it written down.
There we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so be heavily influenced by Albert. Yes. Let's see. Yes, Absolute Mayhem quoted. Where did I? Man, my eyes are bad. Albert King, I Get Evil. Great song. And he says, The Sky is Crying and a blues masterpiece.
Mm.
There we go. And yes, magic. That's how Lando's able to multitask the way he does.
Magic. Pure magic.
Uh-oh. There's Mom. Says, uh-oh, don't time me out, R2. No, he promised earlier, just as you left the room, Ma. He says, I promise I won't time you out, but we'll see.
There you go.
That's why I'm not typing in the chat. I don't want to get timed out by R2, you know?
Yeah, right.
Because if there's a way for you to time out the host, he'd figure it out. There we go. There's Tone of Thunder right there. He says, very cool. First time. Thumbs ups. Thank you very much. You're welcome. We gave you a shout out. So that makes it easy, folks. If you want to give Tone of Thunder a subscription, just if you click on the name and you can go to the channel and quick take R2's wrench away. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, EJ's Guitars is asking me how many Gibsons do I have? I have 0. That's an Epiphone in the back that I own, and these 2 are on loan. That's a nice thing about when people find out you have a YouTube channel, they want to give you all their guitars and amps.
Yeah.
For some reason, even when you don't
notice
need them.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have guitars coming through here all the
You
time.
want to do a review of my modded Friedman? I was like, I'd like to, but I don't really see how it serves a purpose because most people I know can't afford to buy a Friedman, let alone mod one.
Yeah. That's the thing, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Can't just do anything, right?
Exactly. Scotty G says he just gave you a sub, Lando. Awesome,
cool.
Scotty.
Thank you. Very cool.
And R2 says, Maggie, I'm stepping away from the keyboard.
Smart.
Guitar Hack says, I used to cover The Sky is Crying, and my singing would get the people crying.
Well,
by the way, Guitar Hack, I am off work until Monday. If you want to make the trip down tomorrow or Saturday, just hit me up. Let me know. I can shoot you my phone number, or you can email me yours, what have you. He's in the Toronto area, and he was talking about coming down and checking out Ardent's. He actually thought I worked for Ardent's because I plugged them so much. Speaking of which, let's mention our channel sponsors, Ardent's Music and RenaultFin.ca, custom-built guitars out of Victoria, BC.
there you go.
Travis Taylor.
Travis Taylor. Yeah. Know him.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a co-sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you live in my house.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
I'm providing the ambiance here.
Yes.
You
There's Showman Blues. This is Hey Ben, Hey Ben's dad. Good to see you guys.
hey,
Yeah, we can allow that. I don't know why Mayhem's yelling, but he's yelling for a good reason. He says, don't forget to hit subscribe.
all right.
Let's see. Question, we downward bending vibrato. Okay. You mean bending a note down as opposed to bending a note up? Sure. Depends on what string you're using.
Whatever works.
And Guitar Hack says, cool, I'll email you my number. Sure, buddy. Sounds good. See, now I'm going to be quiet. Enjoy the show, Tone of Thunder says. Feel free to contribute in the chat. We enjoy this. Wow, it's just blowing up all of a sudden. Let's see. Years ago, I was taught this was technically incorrect. I see it quite a bit these days, but not from top players like Vi or Eric Johnson or others. Seems common in metal. Well, again, in metal, you see a lot more lower register notes being bent in the first place, right? Like the ultimate pinch harmonic. If you can pinch harmonic the third fret of your low E, you know, in a G chord where you're pinch harmonic that low root note and bend it, very Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. You know, and plus high gain allowed us to do a lot more in that respect. It takes away some of your dynamics, but it allows other weird and cool stuff to happen. Do you have any thoughts on downward bends, Lando?
No, just yeah, kind of. I just, you know, I was never I never took lessons or anything, so I'm probably doing everything wrong. So I don't know.
Well, if
it works,
you get the sound that you want, then you're doing it right.
Yeah, I just do what works.
You know, that's it. There's no absolute way of playing. If you get the sound that you're looking for, doesn't matter how you do it. You know, back in the day before video and TV and stuff like that, you had to learn off the record.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you did that, you just reproduced it as close as you could.
You know what? I kind of still do that. I don't really watch how people play.
I did the same thing. You know, the idea being is well, if you're working as a musician, then the idea is to entertain. It doesn't matter if you stand on your head and play or whatever. You know, as long as the gig is moving on and you get the paycheck at the end of the night, and they cash it before you leave the joint.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, yeah, I didn't take any lessons. I learned from
Hello to Frank C, by the way.
From a whole lot of seasoned musicians and necessity.
That's the best way to learn. I played in a couple bands, and that was most of my learning was from other guys.
Sure, you learn. It's from the heart, from the inside. It comes from your soul. You know.
And it's funny, actually, a couple of guys. Oh, sorry.
Players, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many orchestra players would say to me over the years, "I wish I could play without reading music."
That's what a couple of bandmates used to say to me. One guy, he was classically trained in piano, but he played guitar. He was our lead guitarist. Another guy knew he knew all the keys and all the scales and all that stuff. And I was just by ear, and I was the songwriter, so I would just play something, and they would follow it, and we'd write a song. And he said, "How do you know what you're doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just sounds good to me."
Yep.
Yeah,
that's all. That was my training. So I've always stuck by that. I could probably do better, but
of course, when you're writing, and I mentioned this before, not tonight, but another time, is that when you're writing and you're playing a particular piece, you can hear the other instruments or sounds that you're not playing, but you can hear them in your ear that should be there. And sometimes it gets a little confusing, you know, when you're playing on stage or whatever, and you wonder if you actually played that or not, you know?
And like Dave Byron says, a lot of people can't play without sheet music. It's sad. Well, the problem is if you're sight reading, where's the interpretation? Where's the freedom?
I'm totally muscle memory. And we
got a question for Dad. He says, Ben's dad, Dave. Did you guys do pinch harmonics in the 60s?
Some did, but on a rare occasion. Well, it depends on what you play, you know.
Well, and two, if you're playing clean, it's really hard to get a pinch harmonic to come through on a clean tone. Well, you got to have some grit there, right? You got to have some dirt, or the gain.
Yeah, and we did, you know, we did, but it wasn't all that popular, you know. It wasn't required all that much. I don't think that I can recall. Certainly not when you're gigging. Maybe if you're sitting around jamming or something like that.
Sure.
But not necessarily when you're gigging. But at the same time, most often,
I'm trying to think if I even do any pinch harmonics.
You don't. Well, if you're doing a single gig or a duo or something like that, then you don't have a lot of room to play the flowery stuff, you know. If you're doing the vocals as well. And but in a band atmosphere, I don't recall playing lead an awful lot. And if it was required, and I did it, I wasn't aware of it. It wasn't intentional. It just happened to. That was what I was looking for. That sound, that fill, whatever.
Right.
And so I never thought about it. When you don't read and you're playing by ear, you just keep moving forward. You don't really think too much about, you know, what you've done, because you're constantly moving forward. At least with me, that's
Dave Byron agrees with you too. Cash that check ASAP.
Oh yeah. cash only if you can.
Yeah.
Either that or have room in the van for furniture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something of value.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see here. Talking some blues in the chat. And Dave Byron says, also, Lando, you're doing it right, my friend. I gig a lot, and it's all about feel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Thanks.
And you got to sell it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I really like how at the end of a lot of your videos, you'll tag on a little clip of you doing some live stuff for a few seconds.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And it's not even necessarily a performance, you know, like a clip of a song. It could be, you know, you even just hanging out on stage, or, you know, like it could be literally anything. And I love those little things.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of old tapes of back. It was back the early 2000s, I think, when I had that stuff. And it's
okay.
They're full videos, but I'm not going to just put a full video up on YouTube. I find that kind of boring. Nobody's going to sit and watch an old song that nobody knows. So I just do little snippets at the end, and I find that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think it works. Just show us some old history.
Guitar Hack says, hate getting checks at gigs. Cash is king. Yeah, well, the last show we played, we got paid by check. So as a result, I had to pay the band out of pocket.
Yeah.
You know, so really, I went and played the show, and I was down over $200
after the show. Until the check cleared.
Yeah.
I don't think I've written a check in over a year or two.
I don't even know where my checkbook is.
I don't even think I have one anymore, honestly. I don't. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Everything's digital.
See, Mayhem says, yeah, I'm putting a bunch of Albert King on my phone right now. Albert King used to carry a rod to make sure he got paid. Yeah, well, you know, those guys, man.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah. They used to get ripped off. Jason Wade says people still use checks. You'd be surprised. Yeah. A lot of like organizations that hire you. Like I remember I did what was it? That Christmas show over here the one year.
Yeah.
And the check was actually from the church bank account.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is weird, having a check from a church.
Which
a little reverse.
I've said this before, and I can't emphasize it enough because it happens so much today. If you're playing for nothing, you know, you're doing a benefit show or you're doing a favor for somebody, make sure that you get paid by check. And if you want to, you can sign it back to whoever wrote the check as a donation to the charity or whatever. Because if you're working as a legitimate musician as a business, then it allows you to have a write-off as far as income is concerned.
Yeah, unfortunately, so few bands are set up as a business anymore.
Well, that's their problem, you know. Like, it's unfortunate, but
yeah,
you know, you oftentimes learn the hard way about, you know, the rules of the music business.
Yeah,
rather than the rules of music.
Hey, I got a question for both of you guys. Have you ever had any gear stolen at a gig? And for people in the chat too.
I haven't had any stolen, but I have left items at venues, and I never did it at a local show. You know, for the amount that I gig locally, it was every time I played in Toronto, I would leave something at the club.
Yeah. Well, I used to have 6 P56 Shure mics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have one.
And for those who don't know, before there was a 57 and a 58, yes, Shure made the 56
was the mic to have.
Yeah.
It was like a it
was like a 58.
Yeah.
Okay,
the other one had a switch on it.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's an SM58. That's you've definitely seen better days between the dents and the rust.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have somewhere in the world was my 12-string solid body electric. Let's see, there's an amp out there somewhere. Various stands.
Yeah. I don't know about for you, but for the number one is those pick holders you put on your mic boom.
Oh yeah.
Man, I used to always leave them on mic stands.
But yeah, it's not a good feeling to have.
No. Have you had anything stolen, Lando?
Not that I'm aware of.
Nice.
I've
Not
known
nothing of value. So.
friends that have lost some nice stuff, you know. But personally, I don't recall too much value.
Yeah, usually though,
being stolen.
I keep a pretty good eye on my gear, or somebody is keeping an eye on my gear.
Of course, you know, like when I was playing regularly, my stuff never came home.
Yeah, yeah.
It was in a van or in storage somewhere. You know, it was always on its way somewhere. The only time that I saw it, basically, was by chance if we ever had a rehearsal. Or a practice.
Yep.
And when I was gigging, when I was actually playing.
Yeah, well, and I was the same way when I was playing with One Day to Live, because we had a dedicated practice space, and people asked me, you know, like, how much do you play at home? And I said, never, because we gigged almost every week. We practiced twice a week. And honestly, I'm not hauling a half stack home just to noodle around for 15, 20 minutes. That thing right there, actually.
Right. Yeah. I know that situation. You don't want to keep dragging your stuff around, right? It's just easier to leave it.
Yeah, that just hurts it. For the most part, you know.
Oh, geez. Okay. What Mayhem asked the three of us, what is the craziest thing you have watched while playing a live gig and had to play through? I'll let you go with that one first, Landon.
Craziest thing?
Craziest thing?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's been a long time since I played in a bar. Like honestly, last time I played was 2007. No, 2008 maybe. I can't remember now. I didn't really see any. I'm in Ottawa, right? It's pretty boring. There's nothing. But this is kind of.
Well, you got the Brass Monkey. It can get wild there on occasion.
Yeah, I never played there. You know what? I found it's sort of an answer, but not really. I used to find it annoying when you'd be playing at a bar and they'd have a TV on, and that's the brightest thing that you can see. So I'd end up just watching TV while I'm playing and singing. I'm like, what am I doing watching TV? I don't know. That's just a weird thing that would happen all the time. Big giant screen on.
We were talking about that on Dave Byron's live stream last night. He had missed it, but I have a rule. If there's a TV anywhere near the stage, they have to shut that off before we start playing.
Yeah. Good idea. It's a distraction, right? But
I remember where we were playing Double D's one night, and they had the race on, and I was watching the race while playing.
Exactly. There you go.
And then I was missing cues because I'm a big, huge race fan, and I was getting into it.
Yeah. I think the strangest thing I ever saw when gigging was a couple dancing right in front of the stage, and she decided to go topless and dance for the band.
There you go.
And she was well endowed, and it was rather distracting at the time. That was probably one of the strangest things that ever happened.
I would say for me, it
other
was
than that, people
similar.
dancing on tables, and
I was playing at a place, and there was an exit just next to the stage, and we were playing, and because I remember the lead player for some reason had his back to the crowd, and he was doing a bit of a lead break, maybe communicating with the drummer. This woman walked in, came in front of the stage, flashed us, and then turned around and left again.
Oh, really?
And I just happened to look up at that point, and I saw, and nobody else in the band had saw it, and I was like, did I just see what I thought I did? And the rest of the band didn't. They were like, no, you're making it up. It never happened. But then our roadie was like, y'all saw that, right? And I was like, oh, I saw it. Yeah. But yeah, good distraction. Yeah, EJ says benefits of playing live. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, plenty of bar fights broke out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, stuff being thrown.
Have you ever had a drunk fall on your stuff? Damn near, but I usually kick them away before they even get close to my gear. I literally will kick somebody away.
Oh, I read that as you being drunk, falling on your stuff. Okay, not a drunk.
Oh, okay. Well, that yes, I have actually.
No, I never experienced that. I've
unfortunately
had other guys in the band or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe, but
it would take a lot for me to get. I never usually ever got that bad at a gig. Although I did that one night where you came out at the beginning of the night, and I don't remember the end of the night. That was an experiment, and I failed miserably.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I used to have one or two drinks, and that was it. I needed my concentration. I was the lead singer and rhythm guitarist, and I just found I needed.
Right.
I didn't need to drink to be. I guess some people do it because they have nerves and stuff. I never found that, so I just used to play. And then I was driving.
Well, I didn't want to sip on a beer or two, but playing with the metal band, because we were literally running around, jumping around, you'd burn up so much energy that I knew I could have a few beers over the course of a night and be absolutely fine.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I switched to playing in this cover band where I was just standing still all night.
Yeah. And
wasn't exerting any energy, and thought I could drink the same amount, and I could not.
No.
I kind of had a rule, you know, like what you do before the gig or after the gig is up to you.
Yeah.
When you're working, you're working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to pretend to be drunk, that's your business or whatever. But no, I didn't. Sometimes, on occasion, the guys, the vocalists in the bands, myself included, would sip on the Southern Comfort if we started getting sore throat.
Yeah.
If we were getting tightened up, it would just let it trickle down your throat to kind of numb it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could
or cherry whiskey
finish the night
on occasion. I've done that.
It was always Southern Comfort.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see. Guitar Hackman. I meant an audience drunk. Yeah, kind of covered that. And I saw
that.
Oh Jesus! Did I see? I want to scroll up because it's one of our main dudes here. I see Sean Zimmerman's in the house. A little late, but better late than never. Awesome. And how are we doing on time here? Okay. Well, we got another 5 minutes or so here.
5 to 9.
Dave Byron says, had 2 midgets spinning each other around in front of us. Strange and funny. Sure. Yeah.
I remember one time in Toronto, I was playing and it was floor level. It wasn't on stage. And a fight broke out right in front of me. Which would have been maybe 2 feet. And so I cranked up the volume on the mic and screamed into the mic, "Hold it!" And the room just went quiet.
Yep.
Everybody froze. And I looked at one guy and I said, "Come here, son." And he came a little closer. I took off my guitar and I said, "Hold this for a moment." And I said, "Thank you very much." I took it back and I gave it to the other guy. And I said, "Hold on to this for a moment." And I took it back and I said, "It's kind of heavy, isn't it?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, if you don't take it outside, you're going to wear it." And they did.
Sorry. Sorry.
You know, those are, you know, some of the situations that would arise. There were always those people at the end of the night that got had a little too much to drink. Or, they had a complaint about the sound, or too loud, or too quiet, or this wasn't right, or that wasn't right. But other than that, you know, a few arguments would break out. Once in a while, a fight would break out. But nothing really serious. That's for sure.
Guitar Hack is asking, how do you guys get through a gig with little to no audience? That happened to me once.
Consider it a rehearsal.
Yeah,
that's exactly, that was my answer. Yeah,
we used to run
a paid rehearsal.
Yeah, we ran into that when we used to do 7-nighters and a Saturday matinee.
No, those were like the day. I wish I could get gigs
Monday,
like that.
Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, or actually 6-nighters. We didn't do 7-nighters.
Right.
We did 6-nighters and a Saturday after matinee, and early in the week there was nobody, maybe a few people, you know. So it gave us a chance to do new stuff and you know, just figure out other stuff. But
you're kind of just playing for the other bands at that point if you have other guys playing there. If there's other people on the same, we our guitarist booked one time. I don't think he looked at the date, but it was an Easter long weekend one time, and there was nobody. And it was a Saturday night. There was maybe 3 people. Like, it was just. So yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah, exactly. And Sela says, "Got to go get some sleep." Yeah, buddy. It's what, 4 in the morning there, or 3 in the morning.
Where was that again? Croatia?
In Croatia. Yeah. Dave Byron has it right. Pretend it's a sold-out stadium. Yeah.
Well, you always do because you are getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't getting paid, that's another.
Well, that's
thing.
what I find too. And if you act like there's a crowd, regardless,
like,
the bar staff will at least acknowledge that. So if the bar manager's like, "Hey, how was that band last night?" They can say, "Look, there was 4 people in here, but they played to it like it was 400. They were great."
Right. Sure.
And you'll get invited back as a result.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've hit 9 o'clock here, so I'm going to wrap things up. I want to thank you for hanging out for the whole hour.
There
Look
you
at
go.
this.
Yeah.
Marathon even.
No checks.
No
Did I
checks.
mention that?
Yeah, no checks.
Cash
No
only.
checks.
Lando, thank you very much for jumping in tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't already, I believe there's already a link to Landon's channel down below under my friends. If not, I'll throw a link in later if people are watching the replay. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscription. And if you may want to double check anyways, if you guys happen to browse across and found us, I know a lot of people, their subscriptions are getting dropped on stuff. JJ's House of Jams, huge supporter of the channel. Somehow YouTube unsubscribed him last week to this channel. So keep an eye on that, folks.
Bugs.
Give us a thumbs up if you don't mind, because hey, it doesn't cost anything. Thank you once again very much, Chad, for the wonderful gifts.
Yay.
That was awesome of you.
Mr. Tobin. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say, as always, hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things. Good things will happen to you. I'm a huge believer in karma, and we should all just be good people. So I appreciate each and every one of you that tuned in. Until next time, rock on.